This is what you need to understand about avoidance. Their definition of healthy love is wildly different to your version. They can't love you until you understand that their version of love doesn't look like yours. Not because they don't feel deeply, not because they don't care, but because their entire emotional system is wired differently. Until you grasp this core truth and adjust your expectations accordingly, you'll be constantly disappointed, constantly trying to force them into an emotional framework they simply can't operate within. This isn't about lowering your standards or accepting poor treatment. It's about understanding that avoidants express love in a completely different language, one that most people never learn to recognize. When you understand their language, when you stop expecting them to speak yours, everything changes. You stop taking their behavior personally. You stop trying to fix what isn't broken, and you start seeing the love that was always there, just expressed in ways you weren't trained to recognize. Their love language is presence, not words. Most people expect love to be expressed through verbal affirmations, emotional conversations, and explicit declarations of feeling. But for avoidance, love is expressed through consistent presence rather than eloquent words. They show up, they stay, they remain in your life even when their instincts are screaming at them to run. For someone whose natural inclination is to flee when emotions get intense, simply being there is a profound act of love. When an avoidant chooses to stay in your life, to keep showing up despite their discomfort with emotional intimacy, they're fighting against every survival instinct they've developed. This presence is their love letter, written not in words, but in the daily choice to remain connected despite their fear. You have to understand that for an avoidant, staying is the equivalent of someone else saying "I love you" every single day. Their presence is their declaration. Their consistency is their commitment. Their choice to remain is their way of saying, "You matter more than their comfort zone." When you understand this, you stop waiting for verbal confirmation of their feelings and start recognizing the love in their reliable presence. You see that they're choosing you every day in the only way they know how, by continuing to be there despite everything in their system telling them to protect themselves through distance. Their love is shown through actions, not emotions. Avoidants are uncomfortable with big emotional displays, both giving and receiving them. They don't express love through dramatic gestures or emotional conversations. Instead, they express love through practical actions, subtle care, and quiet consideration. They'll fix something in your house without being asked. They'll remember you prefer a certain type of coffee and always have it available. They'll notice you're stressed and quietly take care of tasks to lighten your load. They'll research solutions to problems you're facing and present you with options. This is their love language, practical care that makes your life easier or better. For avoidance, love isn't a feeling to be discussed. It's a decision to be demonstrated. They believe actions speak louder than words, because actions can't be misinterpreted or used against them later. When they do something thoughtful for you, they're saying, "I love you," in the only way that feels safe and authentic to them. Understanding this means appreciating the small, practical ways they show care instead of waiting for grand romantic gestures. It means recognizing that their quiet consideration is just as meaningful as someone else's passionate declarations. Their love is in the details, in the consistent small actions that demonstrate they're thinking about your well-being and comfort. Their emotional availability has seasons. Unlike people with secure attachment who can maintain consistent emotional availability, avoidants have emotional seasons. There are times when they're more open, more accessible, more willing to share their inner world. And there are times when they need to retreat, process, and regulate their emotions in solitude. Understanding this seasonal nature of their emotional availability is crucial. It means not taking their withdrawal personally and not panicking when they need space. It means recognizing that their need for emotional distance isn't about you. It's about their nervous system's need to regulate and reset. When you understand their emotional seasons, you can flow with their natural rhythm instead of fighting against it. You can appreciate the times when they're emotionally available without demanding that they maintain that level of openness constantly. You can give them space during their withdrawn periods without interpreting it as rejection or loss of love. This understanding allows you to be patient during their winter seasons, knowing that spring will come again. You learn to value the moments of emotional connection without trying to force them to be constant. You recognize that their need for emotional space is part of how they maintain their ability to love you in their own way. Their boundaries are love, not rejection. Avoidants set boundaries not to keep you out, but to keep themselves functional. Their boundaries around communication frequency, emotional discussions, and physical intimacy aren't about rejecting you. They're about maintaining their ability to stay present in the relationship. When an avoidant says they need space, they're not pushing you away. They're trying to preserve their capacity to be with you. When they limit deep emotional conversations, they're not avoiding intimacy. They're managing their tolerance for vulnerability so they don't get overwhelmed and shut down completely. Understanding that their boundaries are acts of love requires a complete shift in perspective. Instead of seeing their limits as rejection, you see them as their way of staying engaged without getting overwhelmed. Instead of fighting their boundaries, you respect them as necessary for their emotional well-being and your relationship's sustainability. This understanding means supporting their need for space instead of making them feel guilty about it. It means appreciating that they're being honest about their limits instead of pretending they can handle more than they can. It means recognizing that healthy boundaries make sustainable love possible. Their fear is about them, not you. Perhaps the most important thing to understand is that an avoidant's fear of intimacy has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their past experiences and internal wiring. Their walls aren't about your worthiness. They're about their own survival mechanisms. When they pull away after moments of closeness, it's not because you did something wrong. It's because intimacy triggers their nervous system's alarm bells. When they struggle to express their feelings, it's not because they don't have feelings. It's because emotional expression feels dangerous to their deeply conditioned psyche. Understanding this separation between their fear and your worth is liberating. You stop trying to prove you're safe enough to love and start accepting that their fear is their responsibility to manage. You stop taking their emotional struggles personally and start seeing them as the result of wounds that existed long before you entered their life. This understanding allows you to love them with compassion instead of frustration. You can see their struggles without making them about you. You can support their healing without making it your responsibility. You can love them where they are instead of where you wish they could be. Their capacity grows gradually. Avoidants don't suddenly become emotionally available overnight. Their capacity for intimacy, emotional expression, and vulnerability grows gradually, like a muscle being slowly strengthened through careful exercise. Expecting rapid change or dramatic transformation will only lead to disappointment. Understanding their gradual growth pattern means celebrating small improvements instead of waiting for major breakthroughs. It means recognizing when they share slightly more than usual, when they stay present during mild conflict instead of shutting down, when they choose connection over comfort in small moments. This gradual growth requires patience that most people aren't prepared for. It means measuring progress in months and years, not days and weeks. It means appreciating micro changes instead of expecting macro transformations. It means understanding that their journey toward greater intimacy is a marathon, not a sprint. When you understand their gradual growth pattern, you can be supportive without being pushy. You can encourage their small steps forward without demanding giant leaps. You can create safe conditions for their growth without trying to force the timeline. Their love coexists with fear. For avoidance, love and fear aren't opposites, they're companions. They can love you deeply while simultaneously being terrified of that love. They can want closeness while also needing distance. They can value your relationship while also feeling threatened by its intensity. Understanding that their love coexists with fear means not expecting them to choose one or the other. It means accepting that they might always have some level of anxiety about intimacy, even as they grow more comfortable with it. It means recognizing that their fear doesn't negate their love. It just complicates it. This coexistence of love and fear explains many of their seemingly contradictory behaviors. They can miss you while also needing space from you. They can appreciate your support while also feeling suffocated by it. They can want more intimacy while also running from it. When you understand this internal conflict, you stop trying to eliminate their fear and start accepting it as part of their emotional landscape. You learn to love them with their fear intact instead of waiting for them to overcome it completely. Their healing journey is theirs to take. While you can create conditions that support an avoidance healing, you cannot heal them. Their journey toward greater emotional availability, better communication skills, and reduced fear of intimacy is theirs to undertake. Your role is not to be their therapist, but to be their partner. Understanding this boundary is crucial for your own well-being and the relationship's health. It means not taking responsibility for their emotional growth and not making their progress a condition of your love. It means supporting them without enabling them, encouraging them without pressuring them. This understanding protects you from burning out, trying to fix someone who needs to heal themselves. It prevents you from becoming overly invested in their therapeutic progress and allows you to focus on being a loving partner rather than an amateur psychologist. Their gratitude is deep but rarely expressed. Avoidants often feel profound gratitude for partners who understand and accept their emotional style, but they rarely express this gratitude directly. They're grateful for your patience with their limitations, your acceptance of their boundaries, and your willingness to love them in their own language. This unexpressed gratitude shows up in their consistency, their loyalty, and their choice to stay with you despite their discomfort with emotional intimacy. They might not say, "Thank you for understanding me," but they show it by continuing to choose you day after day. Understanding their unexpressed gratitude means not needing constant validation or explicit appreciation. It means recognizing their gratitude in their actions and their continued presence. It means understanding that for an avoidant, staying with you is their way of saying thank you. The transformation of your own love. When you truly understand how avoidants love, your own capacity for love transforms. You learn to love without needing constant reassurance. You develop patience you didn't know you possessed. You discover strength in accepting rather than changing. You find peace in understanding rather than controlling. This transformation doesn't mean settling for less than you deserve. It means expanding your definition of what love looks like. It means recognizing love in forms you might have previously overlooked. It means developing the emotional maturity to love someone exactly as they are, while still maintaining your own needs and boundaries. The paradox of acceptance. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop trying to change an avoidant and start accepting how they love, they often become more capable of loving in ways that feel good to you. When they feel accepted rather than pressured, their nervous system relaxes. When they feel understood rather than criticized, they become more willing to stretch their comfort zone. This doesn't mean they'll suddenly become the emotionally expressive partner of your dreams, but they might become more emotionally available within their own capacity. They might be willing to try new ways of connecting because they feel safe with you. They might grow toward greater intimacy because growth feels possible rather than demanded. The choice, that's yours to make. Understanding how avoidants love gives you the information you need to make an informed choice about your relationship. You can choose to love them in their language while maintaining your own needs. You can choose to appreciate their unique way of expressing care while still requiring basic respect and consideration. Or you can choose that their way of loving isn't compatible with what you need in a relationship. Understanding them doesn't obligate you to stay with them. It just gives you clarity about what you're choosing and why. The freedom in understanding. When you understand that an avoidant can't love you until you understand their way of loving, you gain tremendous freedom. Freedom from constantly trying to change them. Freedom from taking their behavior personally. Freedom from expecting them to love like someone else. This understanding allows you to love more authentically, accept more gracefully, and choose more consciously. Whether you choose to stay or go, you do so from a place of clarity rather than confusion, understanding rather than frustration. The avoidant in your life has been trying to love you all along. They just haven't been doing it in a language you recognized. Now that you understand their language, you can decide if it's one you want to learn to speak fluently, or if you prefer to find someone who already speaks yours.